It was a Miss Rashad. Antonio, we are the
Calvers.
Calrissian kids because Lando raised us. And I'm
Uh,
gonna have some technical difficulties today, guys. I just need you guys to bear with me. I wanna donate to the squad. Definitely join on the website,
yes.
theuponfurtherreview.com. $10 a month to get you access to all the things. And maybe I can get back on my actual Sony camera. So Andor episodes 10 through 12. Do you know the name of those? Because I don't really know
Yes.
those
Episode
episodes.
10. Make it stop. Episode 11. Who else knows? And then episode 12. Jeddah, Kyber, Urso.
All spoilers, man. I, I, you know how like sometimes I'm trying to give an analogy. Okay, here's an
Mhm.
analogy. Do you remember the Sultan of Brunei?
Yes.
At one point before, Elon and Bill Gates came through, was the world's richest man because he had that good oil money, right?
Hmm.
And he has a collection of vehicles unlike the world's ever seen before.
Yeah,
And he was so rich that he was making one-off cars via Ferrari. And these cars that they were making, Ferrari did not know that they were actually Ferraris to the point where the car was so well made that they now have cataloged those as actual Ferraris.
that is
All
wild.
right. This is how I feel about Andor. I feel like Andor was something that somebody said, "Hey, I got an idea." And they was like, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm not sure if they're gonna really approve it, but you can write it and we're gonna start making it." And nobody and with no approval. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I feel like Disney proper was like, nah, we this Tony Gilroy, let him write what he want to write. And then they got dailies back and was like, oh snap, this is different. And then it was like, you know what? It's so good that y'all can keep on going. Like that's how I really feel about this show.
Hmm.
Because this these things don't get made. These things be ideas. And then we get mad,
When
you
you
know what
go
I'm
to the
saying,
when you
years
go to
later.
the when you go to the auto show and they have what they call concept cars. This is what this
Yes.
is. This
This
was a
is
concept.
yeah. Yeah, this is like the another analogy. Back in the mid to late 2000s, double O's and early 2010s, you would have people who would work like directly with Nike, a lot of rappers and stuff, and they would have
Mhm.
sneakers that really weren't like legit sneakers. For
Hmm.
example, Fat Joe, he had a bunch of Terror Squad
Hmm.
Air Force Ones.
Hmm.
Those weren't legit sneakers, but since everybody knew like Frank Coker and all the people up there, they would go to the Nike lab on Mercer
Hmm.
Street. Shout out to the mayor and all of them, and
Hmm.
they could get sneakers made, and
Them
they were
door
doing.
them door Doorbackers Eminem twos.
Yeah. I'm sorry going on a tangent, but like
Yeah.
put your real world example of this in the comments because I I love this show. This is definitively no hyperbole, the best Star Wars you've gotten out of Disney.
Hmm.
And as you know, I am a true The Last Jedi apologist.
Yeah.
And this is TLJ, this is Andor. And I go ahead, Tony.
Okay. I want to start off by first going back. When did the first season come out, Rashad? Was it 22?
2022, yeah.
22. I want to go back to 2022 and I want to slap myself and apologize about this because when we talked about this show coming up, I was very like, Andor? And Rashad knows the question that I asked. Who
Last
asked for
this.
this? Who 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 asked for this? I am Rashad knows I am a Star Wars fan, tried and true. And I was just like Rogue One is in my top three Star Wars movies of all time. But I was like, who asked for an Andor movie? Like, who really asked for an Andor movie? I mean, excuse me, a movie, an Andor show. Who asked for this? That first season ended. I was like, this is good. This is pretty good. This second season ended, as Rashad said. This is, for me, the the best product that Disney has put out. And the only thing that I might put over it would be Rogue One, because Rogue One was so good. But for me, I would probably put Andor first, because you see the slow burn and how we get to the point we are at in Rogue One. The the fact that we see in this series, the as as what someone said, as they tried to do with the three sequel series, that we see the spark that started the rebellion.
Yeah.
I want to start off by saying shout out to our boy Sweet Lou, Sweet Luthen. He is the godfather of the rebellion. And this is what's so crazy about this show, and especially these last three episodes. Because my only concern, Rashad, was damn, the previous last three episodes were so good. How are they going to top this by closing this out? Because a lot of shows are good, but they don't stick the landing.
Yeah, you're right.
Andor season two, straight up 1996 Women's Olympics team, Carrie Strong with one leg stuck the landing. That's a throwback for you. And Rashad knows
Oh
exactly what I'm
God.
talking
I
about.
do know what you're talking
The
about.
women's
Yeah.
gymnastics, like, and I mean, they stuck that landing hard. I, I, the show was so good, I really didn't even care if we got a Luthen backstory, and they waited until like the the last three episodes to give us a Luthen backstory. I was like, I didn't know I needed this. Like, I really didn't need it, but I needed this to see like where this, because he just came off. You was thinking like, yo, this is just a dude that's rich, and that's like, what I'm saying, he feels like, yo, the empire's just trash, and we got to do something about this. But to see where he's coming from, to where he's, what I'm saying, where he's here to stop the empire, it makes so much more sense. And then to have, we're gonna get to them in a minute, but I just want to give a preview to see how the Rebel Alliance leaders were a little bit trash. Like, come on, dude. Like, and
But we saw that
Andor,
in Rogue One though.
right, we did, but Andor read them for filth,
Oh
as they
yeah.
say in the streets, when he sat there and was like, yo, that man has done more than y'all. Y'all ain't even done half of what he has done. He's been on the front lines. This wouldn't be a thing without him. So yeah, man. Shout out to Sweet Lou whenever he put that nice lace front on and did his thing. But Luthen was a beast. And this show, like I said, good God. And then what did it do, Rashad? Just like Rogue One, it leads us right into the series. Rogue One, that was kind of like the twist at the end. You see that it leads you right into A New Hope. Andor leads us right into Rogue One. Once again, Disney, bravo with this series. And the thing is, this isn't just us being fanboys or homers about this. This is all over the interwebs. People are
Yeah.
talking about how good this show is, and like, and acclaimed this show is. And guess what, Rashad? They did it without igniting one lightsaber.
Duh, like, okay, so let's I just want to talk about
Yeah.
a few things. So I'm glad you
Uh-huh.
talked about Luthen because
Mm-hmm.
that was gonna be like the backdrop for what I want to talk about. And
Okay.
that is this arc was this episode arc was essentially what will be Luthen's legacy. Like that was this
Mm.
arc was about because we see how they had to set us up. And I just the the dynamic between Luthen and what was his adopted daughter's name now? Now that you
Clear
know it, and Claire.
and
Yeah.
clear. Uh-huh.
The relationship between Luthen and Claire. Now go back. It has been fully reconceptualized
Mm-hmm.
because how they move, they've been moving like that since day one when he found her on that ship to when they went to Naboo to
Yes.
blow up some ships
Mm-hmm.
to all the stuff that we saw in season one,
Mm-hmm.
everything we saw in season two, even
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he got caught up, try to seppuku on himself, and
Mm-hmm.
then she has to go and finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like I really love that story and how because usually Star Wars is averse to flashbacks. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
most flashbacks we ever got was in Ahsoka. And
Yeah.
how they use the flashbacks here isn't how they usually do flashbacks. It's like current story, flashback, current story, flashback.
Flashback.
They
Mm-hmm.
hardly ever use that convention when it comes to utilizing this method of storytelling. But
Mm-hmm.
how they did it and how we see Clea and the emotion and just the like her having to compose herself
Mm-hmm.
and even to the point where after she pulled the plug on Luthen, and then she does like the Star Wars Morse code, and they come back through, and all of a sudden she's like, "Man, I don't want to go." So I was like, "Man, that's crazy," because
Yeah.
you definitely should have went. Please start talking because my you can't see me.
Yeah. So like you said, going back to when they first met, the fact that she even still hung around with this dude because we find out that Luthen was an Imperial officer. He was an Imperial officer and they were doing some trash Imperial type stuff on Clea's home world or wherever she was from, and they was like wiping out her village. And he found her because of what? He went back to his ship because he was having a moment of moral fiber and moral compass. He knew this was wrong as hell. And he was like drinking the pain away. He was just like just shaking his head, drinking the pain away. And she was hiding in the ship and everything. And then when he saw her, he just felt emboldened to, unofficially adopt this girl. And the thing is, I think she was able to be forgiving of him to an extent because she saw the pain that he was going through, you know what I'm saying? Like while all that was going on outside the ship, and he takes her under the wing, and from off the bat, Clea becomes like about that action with Luthen, because Luthen was like, "Yeah, here we are. This is what it is. Let's go ahead." And they took like some artifacts to a spot to get some money, to get some coin, some credits and everything like that. And what ends up happening, Rashad, Luther was just gonna take the little pissy money that one lady was gonna give him, and Claire went over there and started doing some grade eight haggling. I'm talking some
Yeah,
Nigerian style haggling that
yeah, some
go
125th Street
Fifth Street.
negotiating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and saying like they was able to sell it for 18, and Claire was just like, when she saw like people that she know getting executed for the stuff, she was ready to hop right in. And he was like, "Hey, yo, no." He says, "You got to strategize, do stuff, be ready." And you see that even back at the Naboo when they was in Naboo, and she was just like, like it looked like there was like a Star Wars like. ice cream parlor, a
Yeah,
milkshake
yeah,
parlor,
yeah, definitely.
ice
It was a
cream
little ice
parlor,
cream cafe, you know what I'm saying?
cafe or
She had
whatever,
her little her
milkshake almost
yeah,
a little.
milkshake. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And, you know, she was pissed off, like, what are we doing here? Blah, blah, blah. You said we was gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And he's like, hey, yo, just relax and stuff. And he taught her how to be inconspicuous because he was looking at her and for all intents and purposes, what I got from that scene was he was like, you look like you are sticking out, like you're looking for stuff. He kept telling her, don't look over there at the ships. Don't look over there at the ships. Don't. And then he says, look at me. Look at me. And he pushed the button and said, don't. And then when all the ships blew up, that's when he looked and was like, oh, it looked all concerned and nervous and everything. And that's when, you know, she learned her to control her impulses from, you know, saying from that. And even earlier on too as well, with when she was like when he was like, oh yeah, that's my daughter. Mother passed away. This is one of her favorite items. She was like, you know, she was almost like Matt Murdock and Rashad. She was almost like Matt Murdock and Daredevil with Stick. Are you my father? Are you my father now? And he was like, you basically gonna be whatever we are. You know what I'm saying? To get us to our end. And you see where she was hurt to have to, you know, basically for all intents and purposes, you know, take old Yeller out back and finish him off. But she know what had to be done because if they would have kept him alive, he would have stayed alive like they was trying to. My man was gonna get tortured for all types of information, and that's why he tried to off himself. So, you know what I'm saying, they would stay away. So you're right, Rashad, as far as these sets of episodes was basically dealing with what will Luthen's legacy be within, you know what I'm saying, within the Republic. Because even when she sent out the distress signal to Andor, Andor went to his superiors and was like, hey man, we need to go do this because of Luthen. And they was like, hey man, we ain't doing this. You messing stuff up. But Andor knew the sacrifices that Luthen had to, you know what I'm saying, Rashad, to make things happen. So he goes, he gets her, and she doesn't want to go because she like, look, I know how they feel about Luthen. And it's like, no, I'm not rocking. Like I get we on the it's kind of like you said, Rashad, last week. Same goal, but different ways of going about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And
No, you're
she
right.
and she was like, I know how they really don't rock with him, but they have no idea kind of everything that he's got in motion. He talks her into it. You know, they escape the little ambush from the Imperials and they get to the planet. He gets kind of chewed out, and that's when Andor basically lets the High Council, you know, shout out to seeing General Raditz, excuse me, Admiral Raditz again. You know, he passed away as we saw in
Yeah,
Rogue One.
R.I.P. Raddick, yeah.
Raditz, you know, and you see Admiral Raditz, you see Organa, and you see Mom Mothma finally rocking her pixie cut or whatever like that. And they talking, and it's like Mom understands where, you know what I'm saying, where Andor is coming from. The other ones are like, well, are you blinded by him? He's this and that. And it was like, look, is and what kind of I think helped turn Bail Organa before he finally did was it was like when was your last encounter with him? He was like a year ago. And it was like people can change in a year. He says, yeah, a year ago when he got me to get her out of there. And they all kind of shut the hell up after that, like, oh,
Yeah, that did happen.
that, you know what I'm saying, that did happen. So, you know, I just, you know what I'm saying, I hope that, you know, if they do anything else evolving around, they really don't need to do anything else around the rebellion stuff. Because I think this right here. But if they happen to, I hope they put some respect on our guy Luthen's name or whatever, man.
No, I think it was just a beautiful way to show people that look, even though the rebellion has been highlighted by a few people,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people involved in getting this. And also, I think people need to appreciate the fact that the rebellion wasn't this like clean situation.
Mm-mm.
It was dirty. It was
Mm-mm.
very very terroristic. It
Mm.
was
Yeah.
militant. It
Mm-hmm.
was aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
It was angry,
Mm-hmm.
but it all had a point. And the point was to get free from the regime of of the empire.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have Andor. Matter of fact, let's look at it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Andor and Clea essentially have the same story. It's just that Andor is our reluctant hero
Mm-hmm.
who had an actual arc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in English, we will call this a a dynamic character. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they have he went through his own hero's journey,
Mm-hmm.
and Clea is a very static or flat character where they were who they were the entire time. There's no growth, there's no nothing. Like she was about it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And but they're all the same person because what happened? The Empire went to their planet
Mm-hmm.
at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
decimated their planet, probably stripped them for resources,
Mm-hmm.
and killed the native population.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to get away because he got tired of doing ill to people who probably was like, yo, why are we out here just killing folks? Because
Mm-hmm.
the in that scene itself, people was coming back on the ships like, yo, where you at? We just killed a whole bunch of people over here. Like
Mm-hmm.
you missing the fun. And he's like, make it
Yeah.
stop. And I'm like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
he sees Clay like, just hidden and creeping in the shadows in the ship. And he's like, yo, be quiet. And then after that,
Yeah.
he murks a couple people and defected, you
You
know?
you know Luthen is almost like the movie Heat. When it gets a little too hot, can you can you leave a person that you love? Can you just off somebody to do what you gotta do? Do you know what I'm saying? When the heat gets hot, and Luthen definitely does do that. He uses you for who you are and what you can give him. You saw what he did to the old boy that he had been terrorizing the entire series. The IB officer,
Yeah, the
ISB
ISB officer. Yeah.
officer, whatever. My man was like, "Hey, yo, it is a super weapon. It ain't got nothing to do with them daggone stupid silk spiders and stuff. They are stripping them for their minerals and for kyber crystals and all that stuff." He said, Gorman. He said Gorman. What's the other Jeddah? He said, yo, he says, hey, Galen Urso. Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And he was like, he says, yeah, I promise you to give you safe patches for your family. He murked my dude in the dag on a park bench in broad daylight.
In broad
Like,
daylight. Like
yeah, yeah, no problem. To quote our girl Keisha, "Rockabye baby," in broad daylight, just like that. No,
yeah.
it just left him there or whatnot, just to get the information he needed, if for them to pass that information on to to Luthen, and then Luthen being able to sacrifice himself because he could have dude told him like, hey, Dedra, that chick is on to you. She know it's you. She finally figured it out. She coming. And the fact that even Luthen, his last caring act for Clea was, hey, she was like, I know how to work. He says, get out of here, girl. Contact somebody. I got this. And that brings us to our favorite female narcissistic psychopath, Space Ellen DeGeneres herself, Dedra. Rashad.
Destra's story to me was it's just like poetic. It's
Mm-hmm.
poetic justice because the fact that she was so self-assured.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because of I can't not remember that dude's name. Like he was looking all through her files, found her stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Got her password, got her codes and stuff, and was able to get in there, find the access all those files with her credentials.
Mm-hmm.
And because she did not tell Partagas, look, I didn't do this. Somebody's in my stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
since they pulled files that she wanted to look at because remember, just like oh my God. And, and on the real, like she might have kind of done this for Cyril. Just because, they was in it to win it the same way because both of them were
Mm-hmm.
looking for access.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he even got the whole position in the first place because him just being,
Mm-hmm.
looking through files and just having that little whack job that his Uncle Harold gave him. So she was like, okay, somebody's accessing this stuff, but what they're accessing is stuff that I need so I can get to access. I need to know and let them know that, look, somebody is somewhere who is financing this whole thing, who is running this
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. And I want to put the dots together because I and my selfish ambition want
Mm-hmm.
to have a spot. I want to have, she only had like three blue
Yeah.
things, so she wanted to have a fourth one. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
and the bureaucracy of the empire makes it such that it's always dog eat dog. It's
Mm-hmm.
never a collaborative effort because even
Right.
the person that's right over her, he's acting like a ass the entire time too because he knows like, look, yo, you off the job, yo. So she not telling them is the
Mm-hmm.
reason that she gets
She
taken down.
Yeah, and then they like, dude, and she just kept saying, "Well, I found axes." It's like, yeah, we know it's Luthen, and you went, and what screwed her over even more was she was so hell bent. She wanted to get, you know what she wanted, Rashad? She wanted that perp walk video.
Yeah,
She goes in there,
she
she
did.
sweet talks him. He already know what's up because he done already destroyed the, you know, what I'm saying the communication comms have been the bat. And she saw sweet talking and she pulls out that, the thing that they had. I can't think of the name of it right now. And she's like, yeah, got you. You surrounded. You're mine now. Yeah, we about to bring you in and you gonna tell us everything. Meanwhile, Luthen, he didn't show her a blade. They, just like, hey, this could be fake. This could be real. Nobody knows because they never seen those people don't exist no more. And he guts himself. And he's basically on the verge of dying. And she screwed up with that. And it's like, but I found him. Yeah, but he almost died and he's about to die. We don't know what's going to happen and how you went about your methodology and how you went about doing it was completely effed up. And you broke all
Yeah.
types of imperial protocols to make this happen. And so, yeah, she goes down. And oh my God, Rashad, that interrogation scene with Krennic was Krennic's a jerk, but it was so satisfying. Satisfyingly good to see her squirm like a worm on a hook, yo. Cause he was
Yeah.
on, and when he did that diabolical thing, the hand on that finger, oh, I said she is cooked, and, and she just knew it. And then she was thinking that, hey, Patagas gonna get me out of here. That's my guy. Patagas is like, girl, because of you, now I'm under
Now the
daggone.
heat on me.
I got heat on me for what I did. And we see what he did. He just to end his little story, he took the punk way out. He was like, y'all ain't about to torture me with the cries of a million, 1,000 kids and stuff like that. My dad, they was gonna take him in for arrest, and he offed himself. And it's funny because the dude knew he was just like the stormtrooper. He was like, it's okay. He's not going nowhere. He offed himself, and Dedra don't. The last thing she did good for the Empire was what she told them, like, hey, this man been here under our nose the whole time. Do this, cross-reference check this. That, what I'm saying, that chick clear, she's out there. And she gave them a way to try to find him. It didn't work, but to try to help. And the last shot to seeing her in that prison
Bruh, like she on Narkina 5.
on Narkina 5.
Do you like Tony? Do you understand?
And the thing is, she knows.
She knows exactly where she is. And Tony, not even
Mhm.
that, but like she's gonna be there making parts for the next Death Star.
Yes, yes,
She ain't never gonna leave. Like the
never.
the, the fact that and not even like okay, so the last three episodes, the theme is like what's going to be your legacy for everybody? Because we
Hmm.
see that with her, her legacy is a legacy of failure. With
Hmm.
with Clea, it's one of essentially like resilience.
The fight goes on.
And the fight
Yeah.
goes on. I can say I can live to fight another day. Because she
Hmm.
basically gave up. She's like, man, they hate Luke. They hate my daddy. I know y'all hated my daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And she's and Cassian and that whole scene, those two episodes of him trying to convince her, look. I know you
Hmm.
don't want to go this. I know you don't want to go to Yavin, but like that's our best option right now. Like we
Right.
need to get out of this. Yo, did you see how dilapidated the hood got? Yo, it's hard times out here
That's
in
that's that that's
Coruscant, yo.
that's that good old empire, man, for real. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it got bad. Even the apartment was all run down now.
Uh-huh.
It like because thinking about it, how we first seen it, it was almost like a warm. It was like a cool spot. You know what I'm saying? You know how
Yeah.
it almost reminded me like when I used to live in the spot in Norfolk when I first got there. It was cool. By the
Uh-huh.
time I left, I said, "Oh yeah, I need to get out of here, y'all. The hood is approaching." You know, so like that's really that whole scene of him, Melshi, and Clea trying to get out of there. Kato was so I've cleared a path. Him using that dude, I forgot the dude's name, the
Yeah,
officer
as a human shield.
as a shield for him. Your man can take blaster hits, and he still picked that man up as a shield. The disrespect.
Disrespectful, man. Just, oh God, stop, please. Jesus,
Killed
please,
all of
no.
them. Yeah, that was so funny to me. I don't I'm not even sure if I'm conveying just how much I love this the finish of this series
Yeah.
because the way this ends, and I think this ends in a way where we know because we already know how this whole thing ends.
Yes.
And the beauty of this series is we don't care. That's how good it is because I already
Yeah.
know how Rogue One ends. I know how the daggone original trilogy ends. I know how the
Yeah.
sequel trilogy ends.
Hmm.
And it's still compelling.
Yeah.
Even how they wrapped everybody up. Again, still talking about legacy.
Hmm.
Tony, Andor legacy lives on.
So I got a question. And I've seen it online, but I don't think it is.
It's
'Cause
not.
it's okay. I just want to make sure.
That is not
Okay.
Poe Dameron.
Okay, just want to
It
make
can't
sure.
be. Poe Dameron got his own set of parents
Okay.
and another whole place. That's not.
I just want to make sure you
No.
felt the same way. Yeah.
People be talking. That's not. There's
Yeah.
no way that could be Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that'd
you
be
know
cute,
what,
but
too? I wouldn't even care if we never find out.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and
Yeah.
because the way the story ends, of course, these characters are now in the mix for the greater world.
Mm-hmm.
But I I don't know a more perfect way to end a series than this. Like, this is this is one of those series that we're gonna look back on and be like, man, we didn't even deserve this. I
No.
mean,
Even
this is
seeing Saul Guerrero, seeing Final Form Saul Guerrero. So, you know what? I ended this with thinking, I don't care we ever saw how he lost his legs or whatever in
it
that
don't because
situation.
it don't
Because that
matter.
conversation he was having with Mom, he was like, because he was like, hey, y'all don't know what they doing here. Like, he like, we in the thick of it, baby. We in the ish. We see what they're doing. They're mining. And once again, that's another thing to make me like kind of be like, damn, rebels, y'all are pissing me off. The rebel high command, y'all pissing me off. Like you have somebody right there, and he had his reasons on why they was like, come on, Joe. He's like, no. He said this is war, and basically he would be kind of like Saw Gerrera's sale of the rebellion would be kind of like the disavowed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black Ops disavowed, like yeah, we rebels, but we don't really mess with them. But we really don't mess with y'all as far as what I'm saying, as far as the empire go. And like I said, and like I said, the way this show ended, excuse me,
Bless you.
was just wonderful. But I only got one question. What happened to Andor's sister?
I know, man. I was gonna say the same thing,
That's the only question that's, you know.
yeah, and I think that kind of go for me. That's kind of like sometimes you have a goal,
Uh-huh.
but or like a purpose, and sometimes you end up finding a greater
A
purpose.
greater purpose, yeah.
And that made me sad. Like I'm glad that Mr. Gilroy acknowledged her at the end. They had a little flashback
Yeah.
when he was, what I'm saying, like sleep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We see like his sister and they were on the, on their home planet. And
Mm-hmm.
K2SO wakes him up and scares the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And then, whatchamacallit comes in. Benjamin Bratt comes in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Organa comes in
Bail Organa, yeah.
and says, "Hey man, like how you sleep?" He said, "Man, I don't sleep well, bro." So yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
got something in common. So like even them having that small moment to reconcile, like I like that. It wasn't like this huge grandiose mea culpa. It was just an acknowledgement of, no, it's difficult to do what we do. And even
Mm-hmm.
how he had to, like you said earlier, he had to convince them that look, I gotta go get Clea, and I don't care what y'all say. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I got information because I got Clea.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm proving myself, my worth to y'all, and y'all want to ground me
Mm-hmm.
and send me to my have me on restrictions. I need
Mm-hmm.
to get back out here. And I really, I really love just the how the disconnected nature of the rebellion is starting to coalesce. Like that part of it feels like okay, I can see how Mom Mothma and Bell, and then the black lady, I forgot her name, and
Yeah.
the other smug dude, like even going into Rogue One, they were still pissed in Rogue One because
Mm-hmm.
they were only they were okay at that point, everybody wants to be down with a rebellion, but don't nobody
The
want to
one.
sacrifice nothing.
Right.
And they didn't really want to mess around and sacrifice their home worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point, of course, you already know who sacrificed their home world, and it was Leia and Organa.
Uh-huh.
So and seeing like and even like in retrospect, seeing now how much Bill Organa really had to do with the machinations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course his planet got blown up because at that point, like he was kind of like the leader of the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
even though Mon Mothma was like the front facing person,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but Organa was really what I'm saying, really putting
Yeah.
in work and it was like, oh, Tarkin was like,
Yeah.
fire when ready.
Yeah. Can't wait to blow this planet up.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like I said, my three things that ended this was, like I said, what happened to his sister, but we answered that question. Another thing when I was watching this was I was saying to myself, where the hell is Mom Martha's husband and the daughter and stuff? And lo and behold, thank you God, what did they give us at the end? The husband is shacked up. And if I'm not mistaken, Rashad, was that the in-laws?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was her cousin from the party that was like, yo, you gotta get you some drinks, cuz. And she was
Yeah,
like,
uh-huh. Yeah, right. Okay. Us, 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 us.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
her. Cause
Yeah, so
because her I think because her husband's gone, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. And it's just like, you was like, yo, this dude shacked up drinking that old space, that Star Wars yak. He was
Yes.
he was it got the chick passed out in the car and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, there go the husband right there. And then my other question is this, and this is like grand scheme of things for Sean.
Okay.
It is amazing to me how Palpatine, I'm not, as the Empire, was able to hide the Death Star for so long, so many years. Because if you remember, the first time we saw anything that resembled the Death Star was in the Clone Wars when the God, the little insect Genosians.
Genosha. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he
The
held it
Geonosians.
up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Geonosians held up the thing, and you saw like a little. You was like, "Oh snap! That's the Death Star or whatever." Cool. Then you didn't see anything else about it until this. But the fact that they were able, and that was basically like what 20 some odd years ago. For 20 years, they were building, and apparently they had two. They was building. They built the first one that we saw, and they was in the middle of building the second one that we see in Return of the Jedi, which is actually bigger than the original, you know what I'm saying, than the original Death Star. But the fact that they was able in this mass galaxy to build this under the rest of the galaxy's noses, under the rest of the Senate noses, and stuff like that is just crazy as hell. I also love too how much they kept this to keeping it to where keeping it close to cuff. So when Krennic, the last scene we see with Krennic, we see the Death Star is there, but you see that reflecting beam section is missing, isn't in place yet. What do we see in Rogue One, Rashad? We see when that spot is placed
Yeah.
into
Uh-huh.
it. So they did such a great job with this show. They didn't miss in my opinion, they didn't miss a beat. And seeing the groundworks of the rebellion and and in my opinion, the three people responsible for the rebellion, which would be Luthen, Mon Mothma, and Bail Organa, just kind of get everything going to where we get what we got back in 1978, which was 77, 78, forget which one, when we get
77.
Star Wars, what I'm saying, before it was known as A New Hope, but we get Star Wars. So this show 10 out of 10 for me, man.
Easy. Easy, like perfect show. Like
Hmm.
this this show, you know what, Tony? This show kind of ends in a very similar fashion to another one of our favorite shows,
And what is that?
Shogun.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you think it's going to do one thing and it does another thing.
Hmm.
I think this and Shogun last like 4 or 5 years
Hmm.
fighting for the best show.
Hmm.
I told somebody the other day, I said, look, Andor season 2 is the best show of the year. It was like, it's just
Yes.
May. I said, I know what month this is. I'm
Hmm.
telling you,
It's the best show of the
it's the
year.
best show. It's the show of the year. Like, I don't really see
Yeah.
what's gonna surmount this. Like,
Mm-mm.
it could be something pop off and like really wow us, but like just as a complete product from top to bottom, whether it be music,
Hmm.
locations,
Hmm.
well done CGI,
Hmm.
um, casting,
And story.
story, dialogue,
Hmm.
people exuding what's on the paper in a
Hmm.
manner that is palatable yet palpable. Like I don't like I'm trying to really come up with like more descriptive words to
You
kind of
don't need to.
explain. I
You,
cause
you don't
Tony,
you
it's
don't need to.
this okay. I cause I
Because it was
can't
around this time last year when Shogun ended, and we were like, best show of the year.
like it's
Ping,
so good,
ping,
man.
ping,
Like
Pinga was right, close.
it was a
It
very
was a
close.
close, but overall, it was Shogun. And right now, for me, this is the best show that I've seen so far this year. I don't care that it is May.
I'm just very happy that Disney let Tony Gilroy do his
His
I
thing.
heard $600 million passion projects because this shouldn't got like they shouldn't have never greenlit this, man. Like
Yeah.
this is okay, which leads me to my last question, Tony.
And what's that?
When will Disney understand that they need to diversify their they need to diversify their stocks and bonds?
Hmm.
Yes, because the way that the audience is reacting to this more mature Star Wars is is the same way that we reacted to like Clone Wars season 7 or Rebel season 5
Hmm.
or Rogue One to
Mm-hmm.
a degree, or like just the more grittier themes,
Yeah.
or even it's like okay, it can be fantastical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that there are regular people doing regular people things in the midst of all this, mysticism,
Mm-hmm.
like this really struck like it struck a chord in me because like this show it just has so much character, so much
Mm-hmm.
like emotion, and it's really what watching television or watching anything through any media it
Mm-hmm.
should be. Like this is what it should be. And I know the audience for this show isn't as large as your normal where our median age is 10 years old type Star
Mm.
Wars format, but this is this is excellent. Like I
Yeah.
can't
Got no I got no complaints. And nothing on you said. And this show was just excellent. Simple as that.
man, like
Phew.
top tier Star Wars, man.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have more of this
Yeah.
ASAP because it's yeah, man. I don't even understand. Yeah, we shouldn't have got this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have like I wish I had more of a philosophical take or, better understanding of what the themes were, but I really just stood in awe or sat in awe rather when I was watching this and was just glad that, what a time to be alive, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
come on, yo, like off the hills of watching The Rise of Skywalker, I never thought that Andor was gonna be this good
Mm-mm.
ever.
And then, like I said, I apologize for what I said 2022. Who who asked for this? Shut the hell up, Antonio. We needed this.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. If y'all have not, definitely come check us out on
Mm.
theuponfurtherreview.com.
Mm-hmm.
$10 a month to get you in the club. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And when you in the club, you get to do all types of things. You can tell us you can show us you can show us what you want us to talk about. We're gonna have some anime podcasts. We're gonna be talking about video essays, doing other things that we can't really put on YouTube because of, Warner Brothers and David Zaslav be hating. So Discover WB, y'all can
Mm-hmm.
kick rocks. So yeah, man. But yeah, definitely waiting for that Superman movie though. Trailer was awesome. But yeah, anyway, man, we appreciate y'all. Join us on all
Mm-hmm.
the things. IG, threads, YouTube, of course. Like and subscribe. Make sure you comment on all the stuff that we do. Facebook if you're nasty. That's all we have until the next time.